Alright, Treyarch, David, Mr. Vanderhaar, I understand. I understand exactly what you think, and I'm with ya. I understand, I get it, and I agree. You said donuts. You are so freaking beast at this game that we thought we'd give you 2 teammates, and only 2 teammates, and a full team to play. But you went the extra mile, David. David, you said, donuts, you are so beast that we'll give you bad teammates. That's right, horrible teammates that will go negative and not play the objective. Well, David, you were absolutely correct. And this gameplay right here is the result of that. I am so beast that this game is a victory. Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. I'm not complaining. I'm really not. It's just some of the stuff that happens here in Black Ops 3. Some of the matchmaking or match balancing, lobby balancing is a little bit shady recently. It's not that big of a deal, but I thought it would be a fun point to make in this video. And this is actually a very ironic video because this is gameplay of me going absolutely ham with 2 terrible teammates and only 2 terrible teammates in a game of Kill Confirmed on evac with the KRM shotgun. I don't believe it has any attachments whatsoever. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I think I just prestiged it. So, but as you can see, it is gold. It is gold, and you're thinking, don't. Where's the gold gun guide? Well, we'll get to that later. We will get to that later, I promise you. But first, what I want to talk about in this video is Recoil. Now, the reason this video is ironic is because we're talking about Recoil, and I'm using a shotgun, which Recoil doesn't really apply to. Look at that glitch. I'm using glitch, and I'm just freaking loving this. It's just, I'm using tracker as well. It's a fantastic setup, and if I could talk about the gameplay for the entire video, I would, because it was so much fun to get. It was so much fun to play, and it's just the epitome of what a good Call of Duty game is right here. So I'm very, very happy with this. Anyway, let's talk about the recoil in this game. The recoil in Black Ops 3 is a lot different than what us beautiful people may be used to. The recoil in Infinity Ward games and the Advanced Warfare wasn't quite significant. I mean, Advanced Warfare had recoil in its guns. However, the guns that everybody used, the ASM-1 and the BAL, even though they had somewhat recoil, it was pretty easy to take care of. You know, it wasn't really that complicated, or it wasn't that detailed like we get here in Black Ops 3, and Treyarch games in general. Treyarch likes their recoil, which is a good thing, and it's also a bad thing, but mainly it's a good thing because it kind of gives the weapon its own unique characteristic. You know, there are a couple things that go into a weapon balancing and being able to have a different feel for a weapon. You know, there was a I think there's a message by David Vanderhaar on Reddit talking about how difficult weapon balance can get because there are only so many different combinations of damage and range and rate of fire that you can get. And it being their 3rd or 4th game, you know, it's very difficult to make these different unique weapons. And recoil, as well as like quick draw speed, ADS time, those two have a huge impact on whether or not a gun feels right or feels wrong, or is a quick time to kill. If it has a lot of recoil, then even if it is a 3-hit kill, you know, it's going to be very difficult to land those shots on target. And that is something that's really cool that I like. You know, like the ICR and the HVK, you know, they may be low damage weapons. Actually, I don't think they are, but, you know, relatively speaking, lower damage weapons. If they have low recoil, it's a lot easier to get those shots on target than it is, you know, a high recoil weapon. And I think you beautiful people understand that, but how that gets implemented into Black Ops 3 is quite different than what we've had in the past. Specifically with like Modern Warfare 2 and I guess sort of Modern Warfare 3, we didn't really have to, at least I didn't really have to, pay a whole lot of attention to the recoil. Yeah, there are some guns like the G36C where you had to tap fire it in order for it to be super, super deadly, but it had a really fast center speed, and the center speed is the time it takes after you fire a bullet to come back to the center, which is great. Oh, this is such a great little moment here. I kill him with the grenade, I see the tags off in the distance, I throw a sticky at it, and I stuck him. It was so great. But anyway, getting back on topic, the guns in Black Ops 3 have an interesting recoil. Now, there are a couple different categories, I'll say, with recoil in this game. The first one being manageable recoil. The manageable recoil guns are guns like the Man of War and the HVK and the VMP and stuff like that, where it's really quite interesting for me, and it was super, super game-changing for me, because I hadn't really tried it. Like I said, I'm used to Infinity Ward games where I don't have to really worry about the recoil, because my weapon is overpowered as it is. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. Like I said, great game. I love it. But in Black Ops 3, there was a game that I was playing. It was Fringe, I think it was Kill Confirmed, and I was using the Man of War. And I was like, I just simply cannot get kills with it. You know, like my recoil is so huge. I don't understand why everybody else's recoil is so great. And it just didn't click with me until I was like, let's try to actually control it. And so what I did, all I did was I play inverted. So I just pulled up on the, I pushed up on the aiming stick just ever so slightly enough to get me looking down as the recoil pushed up. And I gotta say, it was like night and day. Before, I was like, this is the most inconsistent weapon, I don't like the Man of War. After figuring that out, it was like, whoa, 1, 2, 3, you're dead. Like, I could count my shots. It was fantastic. And that's something that I never really experienced because of how really kind of terribly laggy Black Ops 2 was, and so I never really learned, and I wasn't really super into Black Ops 1, so I've never been like that recoil management person. Oh, and this is so sad right here. This is awful. There's 3 of them. I missed it. Oh, it was awful. But anyway, you know, it's just not something. And then I tried it with the HVK, and before the weapon was buffed insanely. Now it's like super good. It's got predictable recoil, and it comes into play even more so now because the HVK is now more vertical recoil than anything than it was before. And that is just so great, because now you can, you know, again, well, I guess for normal people it would be pulled down on the aiming stick, and you can just, it's a laser beam. It's such a laser beam, and it's so fantastic. Now we have flinch introduced into the game, which, well, not introduced, but we have flinch in the game, which a lot of people are complaining about getting more headshotted more often. Personally, I don't ever really have an issue with flinch. There are times when I am using like a certain precision weapon like the Man of War or a sniper rifle where the flinch does greatly affect me. However, in normal gunfights, I do not think, look at that glitch, man. Oh, it's so good. In normal gunfights, I never really noticed the flinch playing too much of a role in my ability to kill, which is a good thing. I definitely like that. But if we take flinch out altogether, it kind of makes it, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like Call of Duty. It doesn't feel that real Call of Duty sort of, I don't know, gunfight. But, you know, it does add a certain randomness to the game, which I don't particularly like. But then again, I don't know the solution to it. I really don't, because taking it out entirely is a whole nother can of worms that I don't want to get into right now. But there are other weapons in this game. Another fantastic glitch. There are other weapons in this game, like the Weevil and like the AK-47, like the KN-44, where it's just like, there is really no way to control the recoil. You know, I've tried doing my, you know, pull up on the stick or pull down on the stick, whatever it is for you if you play inverted or not. I've tried that, and it's just like, it doesn't always work because the recoil is side to side, and it bounces back and forth, left and right, and you can't really control that. You know, holding the gun down does help quite a bit because recoil does generally kick upward. It didn't eliminate the problem entirely. So there are guns like the KN-44 and the Weevil where it's just I can't get a feel for the recoil very much. So, but I am very happy that it is back in the game, and it is. It's a mixed can of worms. I just said I was happy about it, but then I thought if it wasn't in the game, would I mind? And I honestly wouldn't mind if it wasn't in the game. You know, it's just, I guess it's just not something that I learned in my Call of Duty history. So, but it's an interesting fact. If you're having trouble with the Man of War or the HVK and you can't understand why people like it, try ever so slightly pulling the weapon down, and it'll change the way you play. So there you go. That's it for today. 53 and 12. The next guy down is almost a 0.5 KD. 47 confirms. The only reason we won the game, up against 6v3. Donuts is victor. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for leaving a like. And until the next absolutely beautiful Call of Duty morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, have a great day.